Hey guys, my name is Revenant, and welcome to Shots, where I play through games with various builds and styles to see how fun and viable they are. Today, I'm in Dark Souls Remastered, looking at the Gravelord sword. The Gravelord sword is actually the weakest curved greatsword in Dark Souls Remastered, as far as scaling is concerned and top-end damage. But what we want is its impressive base damage without scaling, allowing us to have a relatively high damage output, but be able to put our stat points into HP and stamina while maintaining a low soul level. Building around soul level 60, our stats should look something like this. Starting class will be warrior, and in the end, our vitality will be 40, endurance 36, strength 16. The rest of our stats are going to remain at their base values. Our 16 strength is going to allow us to two-hand our weapon with no penalties. However, it will stop us from using the weapon one-handed without the massive penalty from lack of strength stat. The Gravelord's sword can only be obtained by joining the Gravelord Servant Covenant. To join this covenant, we will have to navigate through the catacombs until we reach a long hallway lined with coffins, inhabited by a Titanite demon. Dodge past or kill the Titanite demon and grab the 3 eyes of death on the corpse. You will need these eyes in order to activate the cutscene to obtain the sword. Once these are in our inventory, we're able to trigger the cutscene by slipping into an interactable coffin prior to the Titanite demon. Be aware, this cutscene takes upwards of 30 seconds to activate, so don't worry if you're sitting in the coffin twiddling your thumbs. We awaken in Nito's lair, and after finding him sleeping in his own coffin, can interact with him to receive the Gravelord's sword, as well as the Gravelord's sword dance miracle. For this playthrough, we will only be focusing on the Gravelord's sword, and ignoring the Gravelord's sword dance miracle. However, feel free to experiment because the miracle looks sick. With the hardest part of the run behind us, we cleave our way effortlessly through the enemies ahead, be they man, beast, or boss. All will fall before our awesome might. the damage and survivability are really comfortable to play with, the moveset is extremely limiting. A short reach and low staggering power for a greatsword can cause issues in some instances, like this encounter with larva from an egg carrier that I accidentally killed by dropping my controller. The only downward attack that you have is your leaping R1 slash, and your inability to slash down at them without doing this causes problems and almost caused a death. Despite this issue, I had a ton of fun slinging this weapon around willy-nilly and carving through waves of enemies. My final verdict for the Gravelord sword for viability would be 3 out of 5 bonfires for effectiveness. This takes into account going into New Game Plus. It did fairly well in New Game. I had not a ton of issues at all. Damage was fine. Moveset worked on bosses. It caused a couple of issues in some instances with mobs. But I fully expect the weapon to become quickly outclassed in New Game Plus, and I suggest using either Murakumo or Server instead if you want to stick with curved greatswords in New Game Plus. Our final verdict for fun, 4 out of 5. A solid 4 out of 5 bonfires. A lot of fun wading into mobs and just cleaving them down as soon as you have some armor. With the extra endurance that you're able to garner together, you are a whirling death machine once you can get some armor on and not be staggered every time you take a hit. It's a ton of fun. The only qualms that I have that stop this weapon from becoming a 5 of 5 for fun are the limited moveset. It becomes very repetitive with just a slash and a poke. Other than that, the weapon is awesome, and I had a really great time playing around with this. Thanks everybody for coming to check out my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. Also consider following me on Twitch. Links in the description. There's also a link to the build for the Gravelord sword, also in the description. Bye bye now.